Okay, so making another video, right? So I just thought about it. Like, so what is matchmaking system in League of Legends, right? I'll summarize it very, very elegantly. It's a system that bounces morons between teams. That's it. All right. So some people are gonna say, "Oh, yeah, losers queue does not exist. Winners queue does not exist because um, it's just another way of elo people complaining about elo hell, right?" Okay, that's kind of the argument. Okay, so here are the arguments, right? Number one is the most obvious one. Have you noticed that when you win a lot of games, when you win a lot of games, it's like at some point in time there is some kind of a switch, and then bam, when that happens, your teammates all of a sudden become idiots, right? Like go 0-5, 0-12, right? Your bot lane is feeding, enemy team gets all the dragons, and like the enemy team is just smurfing on you. Do you know what I'm saying? You can go like 7-0 in your lane. You can have 300 CS 25 minutes. It doesn't matter. It will not matter, right? It just feels like you are literally one against the entire map, right? Now, happens all the time, right? I noticed a lot of people complaining about it. I saw a lot of streamers complaining about it. We know that this shit is true, right? So we can say that at some point in time, the system says it's time to put you into the loser's queue. And then bam, that's the switch. All right. Now, the second fact, that's fact, right? If you go to Riot matchmaking, right, their wiki, right, and you put in matchmaking, they themselves admit that they do have a system that can expect you to lose. All right. You see what they say? If the win was unexpected, i.e., the system expects you to lose, the point gain will be larger, right? So you see, the system can predict approximately, are you gonna win or are you gonna lose, right? And if you unexpectedly win, you get more points, right? So the system has winners and losers queue. Otherwise, how would it know? How would it mark something as unexpected win? Because it placed you into the losers queue and you won, you gain more points, right? But it does exist, right? Okay, that's a big one. Existence of Smurf queue. All right. So now my big argument about the matchmaking system, like in League of Legends, it's not really about who gets the best player, it's who gets the feeders, right? The feeders determine the win rate. Okay. So all the system does, it just bounces feeders between the teams. So if it wants you to win, it will put feeders on the enemy team. If it wants you to lose, it will put the feeders on your team. All right. Now, how do I know that? Well, because the system can identify Smurfs, right? Correct? Correct. It can see that a guy is playing exceptionally well. He has very high CS count per minute. He has very high gold count per minute. He does a lot of damage. It can identify a good player. If it can do that, the data is there. Reverse is true. It can find a feeder if it wants to, right? So how does Riot make money? It make money by bouncing the feeders between the teams, and that's it. So now, why is it demoralizing to play the game? Because you're not winning by playing well. You're winning because the feeders are on the enemy team. And although, yes, you went 5-0, it's probably because the guy is an idiot. Does that make sense? Like 80% of the time, it's not because you outplayed the guy, it's because the guy is an idiot, right? That's it. All right. So imagine like somebody's just rigging the system so you get to win for free. Sometimes, occasionally, right? Now, why do they do that? And that brings me to the next fact, which is engagement optimized matchmaking, right? Harvard did a paper on this. where they analyzed. It's called engagement optimizing matchmaking. Now, Riot has, well, a lot of esports, kind of a lot of computer gaming industry is big business, right? I mean, we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars, right? So they figured out that if we just balance the matches correctly, the way they should be balanced, um, that's not the most profitable way to operate our business. What they want to do is they want to keep you engaged and playing their game for as long as possible, because this there's correlation between how long you play and how much money you spend, right? So they figured out if we manipulate the win rates of players, that's what this article is all about. They can just manipulate your win and loss ratios, and this increases your engagement and reduces the churn rate. So there is a financial incentive for the company to manipulate the matchmaking system, right? That's why you kind of recently you started seeing posts of people like Voyboy. I think he's a very quiet and positive guy, but he recently, like I think it was like 6 months ago, he made a video and he just dude, like, I can't stand this shit anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's because the Riot sold their company to Tencent, and Tencent is like a gigantic Chinese company that sole purpose is to make a lot of money. So they will rig the system 100%. They will do it, right? Next one. um Next fact is when I play one on one, right, I win 96% of my games. Right now, if I was like a shitty player, there's no way I would have had 96% win rate. Right? It's there's just no way. You know what I mean? And when I play solo queue, I get to like the maximum I've seen myself go. Well, long time ago, I was able to do 80%, then 70 consistently. I was able to do 70 to 75. But now, dude, now getting to 60% is enormous amounts of effort. I'm talking like very, 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 very hard. And like I've seen a lot of people nowadays, they have like negative win rate. I'm talking about like 49%, like 49.5, 47%. They're still climbing very slowly. But this is honestly, these past 2 seasons is the first time I see players with negative win rates. Like I've never seen negative. I've never seen like 49%. But now it's just consistent. Like previous seasons, yeah, like you could see people like 52, 53, something like 54 maybe, something between like 50 and 55. That was all right. But now it's like it's very common to see like 50, like 47 to 50, So definitely something has changed, right? And then final fact is I see a lot of challenger smurfs. They lose in low elo. So can you imagine like a guy is a challenger player and he loses in like gold, or like I saw a dude, he's top 30 in EU West and he lost in silver. So like the system knows the feeders and it knows the smurfs. So if it wants you to lose, you have no counter strategy, right? The only counter strategy I came up with was to uh, use a program called Blitz GG and then check my teammates before the game. And I ended up playing 1 out of 20 games. So I had 95% dodge rate. Right. But now Riot abandoned, well, basically stopped that strategy from working because they now introduced 12-hour dodge timer. So if you dodge more than 2 times on the third dodge, your account is blocked for 12 hours. So that strategy is not going to work anymore, right? So, like I said, if the system wants you to lose, you cannot escape. You cannot escape the fate of playing with feeders, right? And the worst, like, why, like, I become so toxic because I feel trapped, right? You cannot exit the game because you get an AFK ban, right? Like I have how many accounts? I have about 20 accounts, right? And I have about 11 of them blocked for AFK, right? Because like like when I get into losers queue, I just can't stand it. You know what I mean? It's just such a waste of time. And like First of all, you are like the most painful is losing to players that are so much worse than you, right? And there is literally nothing you can do. There is literally nothing you can do. So that's what I'm saying is like just stick to one-on-one playing. It's a lot better. Now, if you want to kind of destroy nexuses and stuff like that, kind of buy some items because if you play First Blood, you cannot really kind of like experiment with builds, etc. Because the game is like literally like 1 minute most of the time. So if you want to do that, then just play full game, and that's it. All right. And if you're up for a challenge, play Challenger mode one-on-one. That's where the real guys are. Challenger mode. Take care.